Yo, what is up, guys? I have a Rogue Endgame build for you that's absolutely phenomenal. Does really good single target damage. You have great survivability, and you do incredible AoE damage. And honestly, it's just really fun. Don't worry, too, though. If you're not to in-game, it's a really good leveling build, too. So if you're not to, Nightmare Tier 3 or Torment Tier 4, then don't worry, it's still a blast. I'm going to cover the specialization, the skill tree, legendaries you need, a little bit of the rotation, and just what's important to know. But guys, this build, I'm telling you, is so much fun. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Start us off, we're going to go with Puncture. This is a really good ability, but we're only going to put one skill point into it. And then we're going to take an Enhanced Puncture to gain more energy when we CC an enemy or crowd control an enemy, which we do a lot with this build. And then Fundamental Puncture adds an AoE component to our ranged ability, but also makes targets vulnerable, which we really want. It's a huge damage increase for us. And then the biggest part of the build, we're going to go down here and take Twisting Blades. You're going to rank this all the way up to 5. This is huge. Basically, this deals a lot of our damage, increases our damage that we do to a certain enemy, and also, after a second and a half, the blades basically will follow you, okay? It's a big part of our build. Then we're going to grab Enhanced Twisting Blades and Advanced Twisting Blades. Enhanced basically increases the damage that Twisting Blades deal by 30% when they're returning to us, and we're moving a lot with this build, and I'll get into the legendary that plays a big part in this too. And then also, Advanced Twisting Blade just reduces our cooldowns by 0.10 seconds per enemy they pass through, and we pass through a lot of enemies because there's a lot of mobs in this game. Up to 2 seconds. So that's absolutely fantastic, especially since we're spamming this and we have a lot of energy. Next, you're going to grab Sturdy. You gain 12% close damage reduction, just a good thing to have. It makes me a little more tanky. And then Siphoning Strikes, we have a lot of heals from this. Heal for 3% of your maximum life when you critically strike close enemies. Next, we're going to grab Shadow Step. You become unstoppable with this. You also, get some movement, but we're going to grab Enhanced Shadow Step and Methodical Shadow Step. For a couple reasons. This increases our critical strike chance by 8% for 3 seconds, so that's just a damage increase for that. Really good against bosses. But this is really insane. We add a CC component too, where we stun enemies for 2 seconds. That's absolutely phenomenal. So we're kind of moving around, and we, if we're using Twisting Blades, I Shadow Step to another enemy. All those blades are going to pass through. We're going to do more damage. I'm going to get CC on a target. It's just great. You're going to take Weapon Mastery, just a big damage increase for us, especially for daggers. 15% increased damage to healthy enemies. Then we're going to come down here to take Rapid Gambits. It just it reduces your evade cooldown a little bit. Trick Attacks, which is nice. When you critically strike a dazed enemy, they are knocked down for half a second. So another CC. This is good too. After knocking back or knocking down an enemy, you gain 12% increased critical strike chance against them for 3 seconds. So like I said, we're CCing enemies left and right, and down here with Poison Trap too. Here, I'll get in a sec. And then we're getting more critical strike chance from that. So we're just doing so much freaking damage. You're going to take Poison Trap here. We're only going to put 1 skill point into this, and then you're going to take Enhanced Poison Trap. Poison Trap knocks down enemies for a second and a half when it activates. So a lot of the time, you're going to want to Shadow Step. You're CCing someone, and then you're using Poison Trap. You're CCing them again. We increase our critical strike chance a lot by that. We also have a ton of crowd control. Then we're using our ultimate and Twisting Blades. It's just so freaking good. We're going to take Exploit. You do 18% increased damage to healthy and injured enemies, so just a damage increase for that, which is great. You deal 9% increased damage to vulnerable enemies. Again, that plays into our Puncture, which is good. We're going to come over here over to Dark Shroud. We can take this. You can actually pick up Dash if you want to instead, but I recommend this. It allows you to be really tanky, and we're still doing a ton of damage with this. We're only putting 1 skill point into that. We're grabbing Enhanced Dark Shroud and then Subverting Dark Shroud. Basically, what those do is Dark Shroud have a 10% chance to not be consumed, which is nice, and then each active shadow from Dark Shroud grants you a 4% increased movement speed. So it's just really nice for moving around, getting to place from place. I really like that ability. It's so much fun. We're not grabbing any imbuements here, but we are grabbing Deadly Venom. You deal 3% increased damaging, but really what you want to do is just want to kind of open these up to these. So we're going to take alchemical advantage. You gain 1% increased attack speed for each enemy if you poison up to 15%, which is really good. But this is actually really nice, especially since I'm still gearing, getting up to Torment and all that jazz. Poison enemies deal 15% less damage. You can honestly drop these later on if you just don't need to worry about this and you're super tanky later on. If you got your legendaries for it, but I like it right now as I'm leveling, but that might change when I hit level 100. Then we're going to come down here. We're going to take Death Trap. This is an insane ability. It's Twisting Blades and Death Trap just play so freaking well together. We're taking Prime Death Trap, and then we're taking Supreme Death Trap. Basically, enemies are pulled into your Death Trap when it activates, which is really nice for crowd control. Again, along with Poison Trap, you're knocking down the enemies. You're using Death Trap. They're just constantly CC'd, and you're just doing so much freaking damage. And then also, if Death Trap kills an enemy, its cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds. So freaking good, and this will kill a lot of enemies. So we're grabbing Innervation, basically lucky hit, up to 30% chance to gain 8 energy, so we're getting energy back. This is really good, though. Really important. Don't miss out on this. When Poison and Death Trap activates, you gain 12% increased critical strike chance against vulnerable and crowd control enemies for 4 seconds. So again, it's crowd control. We're doing critical strike chance against the vulnerable enemies. It's just amazing. And then we're doing Aftermath after using an ultimate skill, restore 50 energy. So that's really good. And then to top off this build here, we're doing Exposure. Dealing direct damage to an enemy affected by a trap skill has up to a 25% chance to reduce the active cooldowns of your trap skills by 20%. So again, we're reducing the cooldown along with Twisting Blades. And over here with Aftermath, and then it's so good. And then we drop a cluster of exploding stun grenades that deal a certain amount of damage and also stun enemies. So this build is so freaking tanky, so good, so fast, and you're doing a ton of damage. For legendaries, really, there's one that you pretty essential to have. It plays a big part into our build itself. You're going to want Blade Master's Aspect. Twisting Blades orbit for a short time after they return to you, dealing 10% of Twisting Blades return damage per hit. Based on the distance the blades return, the orbit damage increases up to 20% of the return damage. Just a huge damage increase for us. You definitely want this. This is essential for this build. It's what makes it so good. Then I'd also recommend getting Aspect of the Expectant. Attacking enemies with a basic skill, increase the damage of your next core skill but cast by 5% up to 30%. It's just really good to have, so we're using Puncture once in a while, make the targets vulnerable. Also increases the damage of our next Twisting Blades. It's just a huge damage increase for that. A couple defensive ones I would mention, especially if you're leveling or if you're struggling, having a hard time surviving, is Aspect of Might. Basic skills grant 20% damage reduction for 2 seconds. You can put this on a piece of gear. It really helps out a lot. And then I also like this one, Aspect of Disobedience. You gain percent of increased armor for 4 seconds when you deal any form of damage, stacking up to 25%. This is just really good. Makes you super tanky. This build, we're very tanky. We can survive a lot of freaking damage. We have a ton of crowd control, and we do so much damage. Last thing I really want to mention is specializations. We're going to take Inner Sight for this. It's the best one by far. Attack marked enemies to fill up your Inner Sight gauge. When it's full, get unlimited energy for 4 seconds. So it's just going to mark a target with this symbol here, and then you attack that target, and that's how you'll build up energy. And then to build up energy, this will be full, and then you get the unlimited energy for 4 seconds, and you can spam this. I think that's all I really want to mention about the build, guys. A couple things that are just really good to keep up. Always keep Dark Shroud up. Like I said, use Shadow Step to CC to an enemy and move through to make your Twisting Blades orbit back to you to pass through more enemies. That's really good. Little rotation here is you can do Shadow Step into a Poison Trap. You're CCing multiple enemies. Into a Death Trap. You're using Twisting Blades. And then you can Shadow Step again back to another enemy. And then same thing. Just repeat over and over again. While also keeping Dark Shroud up. And then throwing in Puncture when you can if you're low on energy. And to make targets vulnerable. This build is insane. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know if you guys are trying any other builds down below. I'd be happy to try them. I've tried a bunch of different ones. The penetration build, range build was really fun too. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited for in-game. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.